will enter, one will win. Welcome to the fight. Welcome to the knockout.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Knockout episode 2. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. Super excited. My special guest, Southern Comic Geek, arguing for that other team, X-Men Gold. Yay. So,
vote now.
Vote now. Oh, yeah. Vote now. Vote for me. So, welcome, David Logan. How's it going? So, yeah. When I reached out to you, I'm really glad you want to be were willing to be a guest on here. So it's had fun. Why did you pick X-Men Gold, real quick, so I could ask you? I know there's a couple of teams that you could have gone with, and I wanted it fairly even, because we didn't want to outstrip the Fantastic Four,
Which is easy to do.
Oh,
which is easy to do.
Oh yeah, easy to do. So why X-Men Gold? Why is that one you want to argue real quick?
Well, the reason why I chose X-Men Gold, there's been a lot of teams over the years for the X-Men, and I probably favorite-wise probably would have went with X-Men Blue, which is the 90s version. It started off with the best-selling comic book of all time, by the way, X-Men. Anyhow, probably would have went with them, but I felt like Gold was probably more evenly matched and more capable of beating the Fantastic Four. And so that's why I went with them.
Really good, really good. Well, we'll see. We all know there's a clear, fantastic choice in who the winner is. I'm just saying. So
X marks the spot.
All right. Well, the rules that we did establish in episode 1. We're gonna have a opening round of argument or of discussion. Like, here's my case, here's your case. And then we're going to diverge into the down and dirty fight. And then we'll have a closing arguments in which you'll go first then, and I'll wrap up the round. So, all right. So I'm going to give you the full screen for your opening statement. So welcome to the knockout, everyone. Let the fight begin.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here live or on the rewind. Either case, I'm glad that you decided to join us. And valiant men and ladies that are watching this, I hope that you feel my heart when I tell you that, unfortunately for Mr. Comics 89, he chose the losing team. Now, this is an easy case to give. It's an easy case to make. I'm a salesperson, but it doesn't take much ability to be able to sell the fact that X-Men Gold would win every time. And I want to present 2 questions to the audience here tonight. Question number 1. What 2 teams had movies made by Fox? Question number 2 is akin to that. Which movies all sucked? Ladies and gentlemen, that is the answer that you're looking for. The X-Men made money. The Fantastic Four lose. So as we go through the arguments tonight, I know it's already plain, but let's just go through the motions and make Mr. Comics 89 feel good about himself. But I want you to be thinking about this the entire time. Think 4 no more, and think vote X-Men. That's all I got.
I see. Some pretty low blows already. By the defense. So I'm just gotta say, some pretty low blows. Well, welcome everyone. My opening statement here, and much like the Fantastic Four, Fantastic Four and the X-Men, they all came from the same brilliant mind of Stan Lee, who gave us an entire universe. When he thought about leaving comments back then, and his wife convinced him to write one more comic, before he threw it all in. What comic did he make? Was it the X-Men? No, they didn't invent the X-Men. He wrote the Fantastic Four, the original team, the original superhero family. The X-Men, while good in their own right, are outsiders. they've always been outsiders, unaccepted by the Marvel universe in general. The Fantastic Four were everyone's heroes. They're Baxter Building right there in the middle of New York. Celebrities loved and appreciated. So it's a clear choice. There are several reasons why I'll get to later on here, and why the Fantastic Four will win. Yes, the X-Men have some clear advantages, but clear specialities. But the Fantastic Four have means to match and even overcome. I will present evidence here, stating my case. So that is the end of my opening statement. Vote the Fantastic Four, because original team and obviously the better team. Thank you very much.
Your Honor, I must object that while the plaintiff or whoever it was, I don't know any legal jargon, I'm just an X-Men fan. Your Honor, I must object because he took the evidence in front of the jury. Fantastic Four, no more. Vote for X-Men.
I object to, Your Honor. This is a foul. He's smearing my good name. All right. What is your opening round here? What's your evidence?
Well, as if the opening statements were not enough.
Mm-hmm.
As if. Okay. There's plenty of evidence. We did have a remake of the Fantastic Four versus X-Men recently released. And this one right here is the C2E2 exclusive glow-in-the-dark cover. You'll notice two people going at it on this cover right here. And that is Colossus, who happens to be a member of the X-Men Gold team, and The Thing. The Thing, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, The Thing. They couldn't even think of his name. They just called him A Thing. But here's Colossus in all his glory taking him on. You know who else could beat The Thing? Just about anybody. Hulk does it all the time. But you know who else could beat The Thing? The Juggernaut. You know who was the Juggernaut for a good length of time? Colossus. That's right. That's right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Colossus had the power of the Juggernaut, but he doesn't need it to take out the blue-eyed Thing. So he's going to take him down for the count. I think the latest issues of Fantastic Four versus X-Men are evidence enough, because in those issues are some of the same X-Men Gold members that would be going against this matchup here tonight. We've got Jean Grey, though while she is not exhibiting the Phoenix capabilities at this time, in all fairness, she is still an Omega level telekinetic and a powerful telepath. All she has to do is shut down their minds. Mr. Fantastic can be as smart as he wants to be, but he'll be drooling over there on the side, thinking about Sue Storm drinking martinis on a beach somewhere, and he's going to be out for the count. That's all he's going to be, Your Honor. All he's going to be. Because she's going to take him out. And you know who can take out Johnny Storm? That's right. Iceman, who is another Omega level mutant. And he's going to take him out for. I would also like to present evidence to the jury that the Fantastic Four have never faced Predator knockoffs. The X-Men Gold, however, went to a world and not long after their forming, and faced against Predator knockoffs. Amongst their ranks, two high-level mutants right here with Storm and Bishop. All Storm has to do is shoot lightning towards any one of her foes, whether it be the Invisible Woman, whether it be Mr. Fantastic, or whatever, and then shoot out of the other hand, shoot at Bishop, who then can recharge it back towards his target. We have Archangel, who after the genetic manipulation by Apocalypse was gifted with these metal wings. And in this issue right here, Uncanny X-Men 286, which by the way is a newsstand, this issue of Uncanny X-Men 286 right here, we get a glimpse into those wings, that they actually can have a mind of their own, because Archangel's out for the count and the wings come alive and defend him. He can shoot paralytic darts at his foes, so that can be just about anybody on the Fantastic Four team. And he is certainly a flyer, similar to the way Invisible Woman can sometimes do, or Johnny Storm likes to fly. In their initial issue in Uncanny X-Men 281, they took on the Sentinels. Your Honor, I would like to present to the court that the X-Men have always been the underdogs. They've always been the outcast. The Fantastic Four, they were like the rich corporate billionaire. Who wants to vote for the rich corporate billionaire, Your Honor? We want to be with the underdogs, the people, the scrappers, the people that had to fight for a living, the people that had everything, every card in the deck stacked against them, but yet was able to come out on top. They faced people that hated them just because they were born that way. Your Honor, is that not the world we're living in? I submit to you that you need to vote for the X-Men as a sign of solidarity with today's times.
Well, I recognize that there are several powerful houses, Bishop, Storm, Jean, all powerful, yes. But there are reasons to match. The single greatest offensive weapon and defensive weapon, for that matter, would be Sue Storm, Invisible Girl. The Thing, unparalleled strength. By the way, Thing, because, he's so menacing, so strong, so powerful, there's just not a name good enough for him. So, plus, if you're named by a snotty teenager, of course it's going to be The Thing, instead of Rockman or Captain Rock or something like that, He could have been a wrestler named The Rock, but no, he is named by a kid who didn't like him, so The Thing. So, of course, we'd all have bad names if we had, named by that, so. And you have a guy by the name of Reed Richards who can literally do anything he sets his mind to it. How many times has he done so many things just by inventing a new gadget? Now, you mentioned several. I do want to bring up one point here. I'll ask one question. Archangel is an original member of Team Gold?
Yes.
I thought it was just Angel, and then he became Archangel later.
No, Archangel. It was already Archangel by the time Gold came around.
So I'll withdraw the point I would have made then, since it would have been countless. But anyway, you mentioned earlier that that he would have the thing fought several people, that. So, but here's my evidence here. Under B1, we're gonna share it here. Let me get this out of the way here. This is Fantastic Four, issue number 13, the original run. This is where the Thing beats the Hulk, knocking his ass.
That is so loose, Your Honor. Beats the Hulk. Oh my God!
Yeah.
Come on. He was mind controlled by Puppet Master, and the Thing fell over like dead. He didn't even get to hang out with his wife that weekend.
Maybe so, but he still won. He still beat the strongest character in the Marvel universe. Surely he can handle little Tin Man. So, and not to mention fighting Colossus here. Let me see. Where is that? There's evidence here. I know I had it. Is it that one? Sorry, it's a little hard to get. Yep. Looks to me like Colossus is getting his butt kicked.
Fake news. Fake news.
And also here in this exhibit here, we see the Fantastic Four in special suits invented by Reed to protect them from the telepaths and all that, from Jean and Frost and all that, so their mind tricks wouldn't work on them.
Yeah, and Carriage would talk about 2 pages later. What happened?
Well, you get enough of a fight, but that's not the point right now. The thing is,
okay,
it worked. There goes your single most offensive weapon, just a pretty cheerleader on the sideline now. Completely useless. So, as we can tell, like Reed literally invented, the solution.
He invented the ultimate nullifier. He was a member of the Illuminati. This is a evil guy.
Yeah.
How can we vote for an evil guy?
Well, this guy mastermind the victory over this guy, Galactus. The World Devourer. How many World Devourers have the X-Men beaten? Have they ever?
If we were a World Devourer, Jean Grey would become the Phoenix.
Well, per your agreement, we're not bringing up the Phoenix.
Oh yeah, we don't want to
So
know that.
that point is moot. But Ben's physical strength here more than matches up towards Colossus. In fact, when I was doing my research here, it mentioned that the Thing already beat Colossus in when he had Juggernaut's powers in Avengers versus the X-Men. If we could beat a Juggernaut-powered Colossus, what chance would a normal Colossus stand up against him? Perfectly. Oh yeah, put it down before I take you out of here. But anyway, like I said, and that's not just the only matter. It's not just strength against strength. Mr. Fantastic can easily handle Colossus too. I'm going to bring up this evidence here. Let me find it. Where is it? You mentioned Fox earlier, so there you go.
I wouldn't have brought that up.
Colossus, like the Thing, is nothing more than brute strength. So Mr. Fantastic can wrap him up. What chances does Colossus have?
But that's just because it was Fox. That was not a good adaptation of the Fantastic Four. I think you can admit that. I think you can agree with me there.
Actually, that wasn't bad.
I mean, Galactus was a black void. He was like a smoke cloud. What is this?
Well, that's not the point. That's one flaw. And how many times have the X-Men had to be rebooted?
That's just because they wanted to make more money.
Yeah.
Slot machine. It makes it rain, man.
Yeah, you want to make more money because the originals sucked. Have to remake them. Fantastic Four have only going to get their second reboot now that Marvel has the rights back to do the movie how they want. So it's easy there. The courtroom be quiet, so that way the argument people can argue.
If the jury has a question, Your Honor, you must let them say it.
The original X-Men I loved. I really thought they went overboard with all the extras.
Point noted. This is the original X-Men. This is X-Men Gold. So sit down.
Many 2 or 3 of the 5 were on Gold. Jean Grey, Angel, and Iceman. Yeah.
Well, like I said, Jean Grey, I had something for her.
Vote X-Men.
Yeah. But like I said, special suits blocked by Fantastic Reed's talents and his brain. In fact, that right now the current X-Men are. By the way, you're in the picture in case you didn't want to be.
Yeah. Definitely, my chest is more in the picture than I am.
Anyway, so the current story right now, the X-Men are all on the most powerful island in the world, Krakoa, correct?
Correct.
So it should be very heavily guarded, impossible to get on, right? Well, it should.
Shadowcat, Kitty Pryde, she gets on there and she can't even go through the portals of Krakoa.
Well, yeah, but she's also an X-Man. So it doesn't that point there doesn't really matter, does it?
Well, you said was it easy to get on.
But here you go.
Yeah.
Reed Richards, and the Fantastic Four snuck onto Krakoa in the middle of the brain cell headquarters of the government building.
That was after they took Franklin Richards, which happens to be a mutant, by the way, and probably will be an X-Men one day. But that was after they took him. And I will also add that should we be voting for a team that has Reed Richards on it. When he invented the ultimate nullifier, he was a member of the Illuminati. And I tell you what, he was a sorry dad. In the Fantastic Four versus the X-Men, what did he do? He inhibited Franklin's powers. If that's not hypocrisy, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
Goose.
Yeah. Don't worry, little Timmy. You're 8 years old. Here's a semi-automatic gun. Go have fun in the yard. You know?
Oh, me and Mom, we can go out and do whatever we want. But little Timmy, you need to be a normal human at home. What kind of level is that?
Kids' jobs are to sit down, shut up, and listen to their parents, and until they're 18. Yeah. Well. Yes, I have.
Okay.
But anyway, as like I was saying here, how many times have the Fantastic Four X-Men managed to sneak their way into the Baxter building? 4 people. Pretty much every single mutant in the world, not on Doom's Island, and they couldn't keep out 4 people. How are they supposed to beat them if they can't protect their home? You know, it's like me sneaking into the middle of the White House. You know, if I can get in single-handedly, something's wrong with your defenses. Something's wrong with your so-called powerful people. If you can't protect your own home, your powers mean diddly.
I will refer back to this right here. You know, sometimes a team is so good that everything around them can be horrible, but you're like, man, that's the team right there. So I will refer back to the initial questions that I asked the audience. And if the Fantastic Four were so good, then why did they take a hiatus all that time? Where after Secret Wars that Reed Richards and Sue left, the universe, and they went to explore their own little deal, and Fantastic Four got canceled. As sorry as some of the X-Men writing was, guess what? They still had an X-Men comic out there.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. The Fantastic Four with Future Foundation were busy, creating universes with the Future Foundation. I'm so sorry that there's not an X-Man powerful enough to invent universes.
Well, who do they think they are? They think they're God. Look, they need to get their act together.
You can invent a universe with God. End of discussion. If I could sit here and create money out of thin air, guess what? I'm a god.
Or you're a government.
No, right here in front of camera.
Yeah, you can just print it.
But anyway, you mentioned earlier Storm being pretty powerful, right?
Right.
Well, let's see. Honestly, like I said, where is it? I had like I said, this particular person here, Sue Storm, her shield. She can shield herself and others. What good can their powers be? She can shield the others while Reed invents some device, because if I believe correctly, Storm lost her mutant ability by a gadget made by Forge by accident, and so she was completely powerless. So while Sue Storm's holding everyone off, Reed's inventing the DX gene or whatever you want to call it, and Storm is just a girl, just a plain old girl in the battlefield. Jean Grey is rendered nullified with the suit. Human Torch can fly up there with Archangel. Sue's fields can also self-contain him and enable him to take him out. So far, your guys are falling like dominoes.
Look, Sue's powers have their limits. There has been times in the past where Sue's powers were pushed to the limit, and what is this?
Oh, just an example of how powerless Jean Grey is.
Oh, that's an early Jean Grey. She wasn't even full telepath yet.
What about this one here? Fantastic Four 286, when she was
she was out of the cocoon, man. Look, if you wake up out of a coma, you're not your full blast self.
No.
Right? If you wake up out of a coma, you're not full blast. She was in the coma in the sea because the Phoenix had taken over her identity. And here she is. She's just waking up. She's in the same skirt she all those years ago. She's got a stink. She's bewildered. She doesn't know where she's going.
Which means her power is completely unfiltered. If you are dazed and confused and lashing out, you should be at your most powerful, in fighting back. Not, I'm skittish. I'm gonna, love tap you now. It's gonna be you're gonna lash out to protect yourself. If you're dazed.
Well, and the other thing, as X Factor 1 would explain to us, that when Jean first came back, her telepathy was on the fritz. It was not working. So she was inhibited by that right then in that season of time. Now, having been the powerful telepath that she is, and the Omega level, as Justin Hickman explained in House of X and Powers of 10, an Omega level mutant is the most powerful mutant in that mutant power or field. And X-Men Gold has a couple of those. Iceman can go from the molecule, freeze the air, freeze it solid. So he can do that kind of stuff. And she can, of course, telekinetically lift the whole team, shake them around, and throw them in outer space. As powerful as the telekinetic she is.
Well, so can Johnny. Johnny can absorb energy as well and create the where is it? Yeah, there you go. He can absorb heat and all that and create that just as much as Iceman. And you said, and the thing about Omega mutants are overrated. Omega mutants is just simply someone whose upper power level isn't known. You can have somebody who can burp the alphabet, or can burp sing or whatever, but just because you haven't met a song he cannot do cannot do yet, doesn't mean he's all powerful. Omega just means you don't know their upper limits yet. So it can be, a mutant whose ability is to paint, just to paint or whatever.
Yeah.
But because you don't know where his talent ends doesn't mean he is Leonardo da Vinci.
Well, I will give you that argument. So, having said that and giving you that, I would say that Iceman and the Human Torch would probably cancel each other out. The whole Storm, no pun intended, they would probably be fighting against each other. But Storm could give Iceman the upper hand by providing either the lightning or additional rain in which to freeze, or to try to put the Human Torch out like a match.
Yeah.
So you could do that. So Colossus is down there, and he's fighting with Archangel against Ben Grimm. He's taking him out. He's knocking the rocks off his face. And we've all seen, because Wolverine, who happens not to be on this team, Your Honor, however, I will submit to you that Wolverine's claws did slash the thing's face, and for a time he wore a helmet. So he does have a chink in his armor, so to speak. However, Colossus does not. So Colossus is banging away at the thing, and as soon as he creates that little hole in the armor, Archangel's wings kick into action, fire the paralytic darts, the thing falls over, he can't move, and he's out. TKO, out for the count.
Okay? You can get past Jean's shield. Or not Jean's shield, Invisible Girl's shield.
Yeah, so Jean and Invisible Woman are handling each other. Mm-hmm. Wow, that didn't sound right. Make things interesting, I guess, but but they're going against, this is the cat fight of the century right here. Here she is going against Jean Grey, and they're both can hold people up. Essentially, the Invisible Woman, aside from making herself invisible, her powers can operate very similar to a telekinetics, and so
contained in the bubble. You can see people falling down because they're no longer flying through the air. Her power can't escape the shield. She's trapped inside the bubble.
Again, one moment in time where she come out of a coma.
The power works all the time.
No. And look, so I think they're canceling each other out. So who do we got left that can take on Reed Richards? Who do we got left that we can take on Reed Richards? You could either make the argument of Storm, even though Storm is assisting Iceman with Johnny Storm. So she's assisting him, or she could probably pull a twofer and go for Reed Richards as well. And then we still have Bishop, who enters into the fray. And Bishop, a time traveler, a man outside of his time. And let me tell you what else, depending on what season of Bishop that you want to go with.
Mhm.
But look at this, ladies and gentlemen. I submit to you the glorious mullet. I mean, this guy has a mullet. I mean, if Bishop can have a mullet, what can he not do is the better question. I mean, not everybody can rock a mullet, okay?
I don't recall
Right?
mullets coming with extra powers.
With great mullets come great responsibility, or great hairspray. Listen, you so he had the mullet, and he was out there skipping across time to take things down.
Right.
I tell you who else, an example of Bishop's power, Onslaught, who, by the way, in order to take him down, all the Avengers and all the Fantastic Four had to go together with the X-Men to take him down, right?
Great. Mm-hmm.
Onslaught, when he attempted to kill the X-Men, was firing a blast, and who jumped in the way to take the blast and still stood from the blast? That was Bishop. My man, Bishop, saved the day, saved the X-Men, and here we are. Okay? That's the kind of blast he can take.
Bishop and his mullet, the Joe Dirt of the X-Men. So, very well.
Now we're dissing on the mullet. First we diss on minorities, then we diss upon people that were born different. Now we diss upon
Invisible Woman's shield blocks off everyone else from being attacked. Reed Richards invents a device like Forge did, zaps Storm. She is powerless. Now where's Bishop going to get his boost? He might be great with physical energy blasts, but he cannot fight toe-to-toe. Fight toe-to-toe. He's going to be knocked out by one punch from the thing. He's going to go flying through the end zone.
Yeah.
And like I said, Colossus loses up against, the Thing, or if Mr. Fantastic can take him.
Your Honor, I would just like to submit to the court a comment made by Mr. David Logan. Can you post that up for all to see, whether live or afterwards?
There you go.
Oh, what?
And you cannot blame me for slip of the tongues. One argument doesn't matter.
That's a Freudian slip.
No.
Freudian slip.
That's a Mr. Comics slip, and I can do whatever I want. Like I said,
Fantastic.
Fantastic can do it.
Look at Mr. Fantastic. He's looking at the thing like, why in the world did I sign up for this movie?
Because like I said, he's concentrating. He's wrapped up. Like I said, he invents a gadget that takes out Storm. He can wrap himself around Colossus and tie him up. Sue can.
Mr. Fantastic, aside from his immense intelligence, is large nothing but a giant-sized condom.
Well, just because you're not getting any doesn't mean you can be.
Mic drop. Mic drop.
But when you can go toe-to-toe against brute force and you have brains, you can't be beat.
I can imagine why they don't have no more than 2 kids. Because the ED is probably pretty real with Mr. Fantastic.
Well, I want to bring up a couple other points too here. One of it's being here that, like I said, who was it that crossed the line? Now you go from the outsiders, outsiders to the big brother themselves, the racists themselves, segregating their own people. Now they think they're better than them just because he's wearing a fancy helmet. Put on a new hat and all of a sudden you're all that.
So who wears a helmet very similar to that?
Magneto.
Well, there's Magneto's helmet here, and then there's Mini.
In Ultimate Fantastic Four, Who wears a very similar helmet to that?
That I'm not sure.
No.
Oh, that one. But yeah, well, that's an alternate Mr. Fantastic, and you cannot bring. And when I said, if I can't bring Franklin Richards into the argument, you can't bring, Mr. Fantastic in a bad mood.
Well, look, if you got to bring Professor X, you can't bring Professor X because we're not talking about him. He's not a member of the X-Men Gold team. Okay. Neither is Magneto, for that matter.
How many times? Okay, fine. Since we're going to bring up there, how many times have the Fantastic Four that can you recall lost a fight like that, where you had to invent a new Fantastic Four? How many?
A new Fantastic Four.
How many Fantastic Four teams have existed?
Multiple ones. You have Fantastic Force, which was Franklin Richards come back from time. The Thing left because he fell in love with a lady from Secret Wars, and then
that's an extra player coming in, but the team still existed here.
The team fell apart when Franklin Richards decided to leave.
They didn't get captured. The team might have had a new guy come in now and then and leave, but your X-Men are the ones who lost and had to be rescued themselves.
So who has the best-selling comic book of all time?
That would be Fantastic Four #1.
Wrong.
X-Men. So yeah, so every one of them goes through their own little deal, right? But yeah, so ultimately though, the Fantastic Four are outmatched. They are four. Think about this now. We are talking about a country club of superhero teams. We're not going to include no more than 4 people. They're all not going to be minorities. All of them are going to be rich. Ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, are these the kind of people you want to vote for? Vote for X-Men Gold.
I see. Well, I think we can wrap this up for some closing arguments. Oh, okay. Well, now, all right. But like I said, the whole discussion was X-Men Gold versus Fantastic Four. What movie? We weren't even talking about movies. So you're trying to bring a gun to a knife fight here. Completely irrelevant questions. So your 2 questions were not even relevant to the argument to begin with. They're still there. Just because you don't like them.
Who came back?
Yeah, because you cannot leave them out. Leave them out. They always come back because they're the best. So I'll let you start the closing arguments, and then we'll wrap this up. So,
well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I think the arguments have been clearly given. And I feel in my heart of hearts that you have heard the arguments loud and clear, and that this was really a foregone conclusion before we even began. But we've come here and we've had a good time, right? To borrow JB's phrase. So I do want to just say that with the team of X-Men Gold, of which we're fighting against with Fantastic Four put up a good fight, a valiant fight. A fight to probably the last standing member, but in the end, they would lose. And so while Mr. Comics 89 rightly says that I can't bring up the movies and how they compare, I know that's probably in the back of your mind. So I will simply say, vote X-Men, and to borrow somebody's phrase, enough said.
all right. My opponent had some good points, and had a good discussion too. But I like to just wrap things up. And like I said, individually, the X-Men might be better, but as a team, you cannot beat the Fantastic Four. After all, they came first. They work so much better. Nightcrawler himself admits in the new books, the Fantastic Four X-Men, the 4-part thing, that you can't plan for the mind of Mr. Reed. You could plan for most of the others, the Thing, Invisible Girl, Human Torch, but you cannot plan for the mind of Mr. Fantastic. They were able to sneak onto the island of Krakoa because he invented a mental suit that, like Magneto's helmet, protected them from the psychics completely wiping Jean Grey out of the fight. Reed's flexibility allows him to take on multiple people, Colossus, as well as inventing the technology that can defeat Sue Storm. Not Sue Storm, sorry, Storm. Same name. What can I say? But Invisible Woman's force field can protect herself and others. So working in team with, say, Johnny, there goes Archangel out of the sky because he can no longer fly. You know, we saw her powers box in, in Marvel Girl, Jean Grey, so where she was useless. So there goes Jean Grey and, Storm off on the sidelines, out of the fight. You're unable to do it. They're not able to fight anymore. The Thing can go up against the biggest and the best. He knocks out the Hulk. He beat Colossus when he had Juggernaut's power. So what chance does Colossus have without him? Without his steroids and souped up? He just simply cannot win. Plus, like I said, Mr. Fantastic can wrap him up easily. Like I said, Johnny can do his fly around to match Archangel, and you cannot beat the Fantastic Four. They came first. They work better as a team. They can handle the 6-on-1 or 6-on-4. Their Reed's brains, Sue's talents, things of toughness, and Johnny's flying make the perfect combination. They cannot be beat. So vote for the Fantastic Four because they're the only ones who can beat the galactic threat. The X-Men are hiding in their mansion, scared of the world, to protect themselves, where the Fantastic Four are the ones actually out there saving us. I wrap up my case. Vote the Fantastic Four. Thank you. So, I'm going to drop the voting line. So, vote now, Fantastic Four or X-Men. So, this was fun. Yes, we're still on.
Yeah, I'm not trying to sway the vote any.
I'm obviously above such petty.
What's your channel? You're supposed to be.
I'm supposed to be above it and show high moral standards. So even if you manage to stack the voting the ballot box, we all know who really wins then, because you can win without stuff in the box. So, so yeah, those of you watching, what do you think? So, how are you doing?
Looks like people watching must have kind of put us on multiple tabs. So hopefully they'll switch back over pretty soon. Oh, come on, David. David, you my man.
Fantastic Four, come on now. Come on now. So it's obvious, Fantastic Four. So vote now. My son banged his knee.
Out.
Well, he'd cry if he stubbed his toe on a pillow. So I'm not too concerned.
Tell him he don't need to do that.
Well, I'll send the X-Men to take after him because this is obviously a job for them.
Yeah, because Mr. Fantastic is a horrible father. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I know. He's an overprotective dad. We all have certain things. So David, if you're still there, what do you think?
All right, David. No, this ain't hard, David. It's a foregone conclusion. I think you're trying to be nice to Mr. Comics 89 because it's Matt's
Who does
channel.
Stan Lee love more?
Who does Stan Lee? Stan Lee's dead. This is about the living. This is about now.
Yes, and he's only started living when he did comics his way. It started with this.
Well, I guess you can make the argument that they saved the best for last, right?
Or they just ran out of ideas.
Well, yeah, after the X-Men, but yeah, the Fantastic Four. There's got to be something better than this.
Yeah. After Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four, it was all downhill from there.
So when
wow,
Marvel next.
Yeah,
Well,
tell Disney that.
I like the girl. She kicks some better ass than the guy. He dies. He let cancer beat him. I'll tell you,
wow.
he couldn't go to chemotherapy. He let cancer beat him.
Yeah, the Negabands messed him up, though. The Negabands messed him up.
Yeah.
And which episode? Which series is that one? Or not the series, but which book is that one?
We're talking about your guy.
Yes, I know. And which?
I don't know. Captain Marvel.
Well, the death of Captain Marvel is where he dies.
Yeah.
It's a Marvel graphic novel. But the Captain Marvel where he gets cancer from Nitro, where Nitro blows up that canister. You got that one?
I don't know. I don't know. I have maybe like what 20 or so out of all of them, so I haven't read them.
34 is where he contains the canister and find out later that that's what really caused him to get cancer. And so.
Yeah. So
I'm not reading them until I get them all.
So he said you had number 1.
Yes.
I just picked up number 1 myself. It was like a 6.0. I got it off of a Instagram auction.
Right on.
So I'm going to ask you, Southern.
Mm-hmm.
You obviously are voting for, even after both the arguments, you're voting for X-Men, right?
I'm not the one that was getting tongue-tied and out of his heart of hearts was really saying what his heart felt.
I'd get tongue-tied. I confused Superior. I tongue-tied Superior Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, I think last one, and I hate Superior. I didn't hate, but I just didn't like. I don't understand why Reggie. I mean, I can understand why Reggie liked him or the story. I believe, if I remember correctly, on a couple of videos, but I didn't get into Superior. I just didn't like the attitude of him. So
obviously, I voted for X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I have a Fantastic Four comic to my collection.
I do.
Let's see, Fantastic Four. I take that back. I do have a few.
I do love the X-Men, but I think Fantastic Four would work better as a team. And since this would be
David,
sounds to me like the Fantastic Four wins.
No, yeah. David, you bought comics from me. Come on, man.
And he bought comics from me. Who packaged better, David? Who packaged better?
We want to go there.
Yeah, I'll go there. You're the one. You're the one throwing in. You're the one throwing in the who had better money for the movies.
All the bets are off.
So who packaged better, David? Come on now.
Which movies? All lightweight.
Enough said.
Yeah, enough said. I win. Obviously.
So this is the only Fantastic Four comic I have in my collection, and that's because it's a 25th anniversary cover.
Yeah. Who makes you laugh a bit more, David? I think I should win now, since I obviously gave you. Well, no. So now you're.
There you go, David. There you go.
Flip-flopping worse than Mitt Romney in 2012. I gotta tell you.
It was a hanging chad, I tell you. The vote was not fully cast.
You know what? Can I have a vote?
Oh no! I thought I had her. Look, I was talking Captain Marvel.
No,
we were talking. Yeah, you pulled that on me, man. That's unfair. I object, Your Honor.
Overruled. Overruled.
Somebody's got to be stricken. She's not an unbiased third party.
She is the smartest person in the world.
She is biased.
She's not biased. She's incredibly intelligent. So therefore.
Oh, now you're gonna. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Yeah.
I still choose X-Men, the more original.
X-Men Gold. 3 of them are the original.
Yeah. So. All right, David. Enough flip-flopping. Since I'm gonna vote for Fantastic Four because I had to argue with them. I argued them. So.
X-Men, just because I want to piss them off.
Whatever. So we're gonna be 1-1 right now. So we just need at least one more person to vote. Give us a winner. Because
Bishop coming back through time to kick a little butt, take some names.
weak to physical attacks can get his ass kicked by the thing. Just saying.
Check that mullet out. I mean, if a guy can rock a mullet like that, he can certainly beat Mr. Condom. I mean, Mr. Fantastic.
What's that guy's name? Booster Gold. Just like Bishop, like Booster Gold, had to go back in time because he was a loser in his own time. He couldn't win. He couldn't win in the future. He had to go back to an easier time. Because only losers got to go back in time. He needed his handheld.
McFly. McFly's not a loser. Is a winner. He's not a winner.
Have you met the McFly family? They started out that way.
McFly.
Exactly. You're proving my point. I'll tell you, Biff. I'll tell you.
Archangel kicking butt right here.
Don't go near a jumbo magnet. There goes Colossus and Archangel. Sucked up. Colossus and Archangel defeated by a magnet. Just saying.
They beat the Predator lookalikes.
Lookalikes, not the real thing.
Well, the Fantastic Four never fought the Predator.
They didn't. X-Men never fought Galactus.
You sure?
Yeah.
You sure?
To the best of my knowledge.
See, yeah. Okay, now we're going to throw that in there. Well, to the best.
Well, I can't be wrong. To the best of my knowledge. If I'm wrong, I didn't know. If I'm right, I told you so.
Well, like I said, it's been fun arguing the point. Hopefully, for those of you who might catch this on the rewind, you'll go all the way to the end and go down to the comment section down below after you like this video, and we'll put your vote in there to prove Mr. Comics 89 once and for all, when there's a wide net cast out, who the ultimate winners are.
Yeah. The first, since we're technically 1-1, unless David wants to chime in here before we go, first person to comment will tip the scale and move us forward. So obviously, when we move forward, we're gonna move forward, and this whole thing's gonna be. Hey,
there's a comic collector. Go ahead and vote. Who's better, X-Men?
But yeah, I decided we're gonna do a season 1. We're gonna move forward in like a tournament bracket. So whoever moves forward with here is gonna go up against the Amazing Spider-Man. However, whichever team wins will only get to pick one character to go up against Spider-Man, because 4 against 1 or 6 against 1 isn't a fair fight. So,
well, according to you, Mr. Fantastic can take on multiple people, and so it shouldn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Mr. Fantastic win. Is that your final vote, Comic Collector? Is that your final vote, or is that your official vote? So that way I can have a definitive.
He's more of a DC guy. But hey, I'm with you, man. On Batman, got the new Batmans and got all the Joker. This is kind of off the subject, but since he's in there, I got all the.
Now we're tied up again.
These are.
Comic Collector gave us a yes for X-Men, and David said my vote was for Fantastic Four. So yeah, 2-2. So we're still down to that.
Yeah, when I got the Batman or Detective Comics 1000, I got all the decades. So I got Joker ones, and the guys they picked to do the Jokers. I mean, Bill Sienkiewicz, his art screams madness.
Yeah,
and so he draws the Joker. It's just like, yeah. I mean, it makes.
We're gonna go. Let's go for say 5 more minutes long, or 5 more minutes. Make this a full hour. And if we're still tied, I'm gonna go to our first guest, Matt, the boy who had 7, and ask him who would win, or something like that, or ask her who. Or
people can vote in the people can vote in the comment section if they watch this on the rewind.
This way I have a definitive vote if no one puts anything down. That way, like I said, if someone can put something down, You know, that way we for sure, if no one else votes in the comments, that way we have a tip and not just a, all right, round 2. So, I mean, we could always go.
Rocky fought Apollo twice. You know, it might be a tie. You know, I don't know.
But yeah. But this is easy. Fantastic Four all the way. So, I mean, we were talking about bad movies. What was it? The Dark, was it a Dark Phoenix or?
They had to reshoot that one because Marvel had already bought them, and they didn't want it to be too much like Captain Marvel, so they were at a disadvantage. But they had the Fantastic Four at their fingertips, and what did they do? Three strikes, you're out. You got it.
Yeah, it was a Fantastic Four is going to be rebooted for a second time now. X-Men. Apparently, they need an extra effort because they just couldn't get it together quick enough. You know, I'm just saying.
Okay.
All right. But no, this is a lot of fun. So thank you for joining me. You definitely brought a good arguments. I liked them. So.
Well, it keeps it fun, keeps it interesting. So.
Yeah, definitely. But after all, like you said, you know, Mr. Fantastic can invent anything, even with scraps. So, don't know why he can't invent a mutant nullifier, and now you have 6 guys against the Fantastic Four.
He can invent anything, but he can't heal Ben Grimm. He can't fix it.
He did. It's, you know, he figured out a temporary solution, but he just cannot fix the cosmic rays or whatever. But he can give him his human self for like a few days once a year.
That's because he's a loser.
Yeah, well.
You know, Dr. Doom all day long.
Whatever.
Dr. Doom is total BA, man.
Yeah.
And then when you got Dr. Doom teamed up with who? That's right, the Submariner, which is the first mutant. How can you vote for anybody but X-Men?
Well, now that the fight is over, let's throw in, yes, he's a mutant because he was born with the powers, but ultimately, his family's going to side with family, which means the most powerful mutant in the world is going to tip the Fantastic Four.
He's not going to side with
Yes,
because he can't stand Reed Richards. He wants Sue Storm as one of his little harem, you know.
And I couldn't stand my dad either as a kid. Now. It's a typical teenager rebellion, you know.
Yeah.
Well,
and so you know, Doom's gonna go, hey, Submariner, you can't stand Reed Richards no more than I can. He's a loser. You know, let's go with X-Men. Just to get back at Reed Richards. And that's what he did in the Fantastic Four versus the X-Men comic. Basically, he's like, I'm going to help Franklin Richards out just because it's going to get Reed mad. Yeah. And he can do it where Reed can't. So obviously, Reed's not that big of a genius.
Yeah.
Well, alas, it looks like we're going to have a recount, hanging chads and all that kind of good stuff. But
well, I'm going to change my vote. Now we're at the very end.
Oh,
I've had a lot of fun for Fantastic Four, but you do have a better argument, and so out of pure fairness, I'm going to vote for the better argument. So I will tip my hat to X-Men Gold and proclaim them the winner of episode 2.
Thank you. I got my speech prepared right here. I want to thank, first of all, I want to thank my wife. I want to thank my family. Well, we're right in an hour. So
yeah. So X-Men Gold will move forward into the next round how I've designed it. So which means you're gonna have to pick one of the 6 to go up against the Amazing Spider-Man, since that is the tally there. So You have to pick your guy and pick him carefully, because you won't get a second chance.
Okay, so yeah, that means I'd have to go back up against you, right then?
Yeah, since I would be arguing. That's how I wanted. That's how I wanted to do it. So
That's gonna be a tough one with that slate of X-Men against Spidey. I'm gonna have to think about that one.
You do that. Oh, so next episode, episode 3, if he's still willing to do it, will be Kevin's from Super Power View, I believe is the channel name. I'm drawing a blank right now, but we will be arguing for episode 3, Batman versus the Punisher. We are crossing the universe, so we're crossing over into a little bit of the DC territory. We're gonna create. It'll be a really cool fight. I'm really looking forward to this. So he's gonna argue Batman, and I'm arguing the Punisher. So this will be fun. So be a lot of fun. So stay tuned for episode 3. I want to do it, say, in about 2 weeks or so. We'll see what works with Kevin. And so stay tuned for episode 3. Thank you very much, Superior Southern, for joining me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
Yep. All right, everyone, stay tuned for the next episode. Until then, happy collecting, and I'll see you guys later.